All together now. Good evening. Hello, it's Paul Carenza here. How are you? A very good Tuesday evening to you. Happy June, everybody. Hooray, hooray for June. Lovely to see you. Thank you very much for joining us. Lots of people already on the old chitter-chat. If you're not on the chat already, then you need to get on this. Because also, this is the only way you get part of the bespoke song, which this week, as requested by Mel O'Sullivan 2 weeks ago, this is me from The Greatest Showman, which, if I'm honest, I'm not as familiar with as I thought I would be, given it is a very famous song. So let's see how that goes in a few minutes' time, when I slightly make it up as I go along. So thank you for being here. Hello to you. Hello. There you go. That gets another outing. And occasionally now and then you may be asked to... Please clap, but if you don't, then I will do it for you, as ever. If you're a first-timer here, hello to you. I don't know, if we have any first-timers, do say hello on the Chatteroony. Reg Craigie's out in the garden with cheese and wine, you lucky blighter. Well done, Reg, that's the way to live. Yeah, Dan Bellamy is flip-flopping between this gig, and I'm also doing another gig, which... whisper it, is pre-recorded. This is the live one, that was pre-recorded. And that's for Kingdom Comedy. If you'd like to watch that, it's online for perpetuity, I believe, as is this, I guess. So you can choose which you would like to watch. And it's called Kingdom Comedy. If you search on YouTube for Kingdom Comedy, it's myself, it's Dominic Woodward, and it's Deliso Shaponda, the Britain's Got Talent finalist, all packaged together by Duncan Logan. So it's like a comedy show. It's like a package show of comedy. Compare in 3 acts. We've done recordings in our own rooms, and Duncan's packaged it together, and it's all for good cause as well. So there you go. You can have a look. Kingdom Comedy is the one there. Coming soon as well, we're having a sort of comedy festival with mostly Christian comedians, I believe it is. So St Andrew's Comedy Festival. Keep an eye out for that. And the other admin of the week is my podcast is being launched this week. The trailer is technically online now. It's called The British Broadcasting Century. If you go to facebook.com/BB Century, in fact, if you could like that page, that'd be a marvellous thing, because the more the merrier there. Facebook.com/BB Century. So BBC Century. And the trailer is for the podcast is online now, but it's the Apple Podcasts thing. It's going to take about a day for them to approve it. They've got to listen to it first, make sure it's legit. So Dave Donohue's got a pizza, just like the comedy nights at the Stoke, back in the good old days of the Stoke Comedy Club in Guildford. I've noticed I'm being lit tonight by God's very own spotlight, just over yonder. Maybe I should angle myself differently so that I'm being probably lit from behind there. You wouldn't know, but the blind is down. That is with the blind down. So, blind in light, blinded by your grace, etc. Andrew Deacon is still not going out. Hope you. Yeah. So how are we doing? How's the? Dan Bellamy says, "Where's the banner gone?" It's normally behind me. Yeah, it's in the cupboard. It's over there in the cupboard. Basically tonight, before we started, I was a little bit late setting up tonight because I thought I would try the shed. I'd try the summer house, the whatever you call it, the outdoor villa experience. It's not that it's a shed. And I gave it a go. A bit nervous on the noise bleed into the neighbour's garden. But when I, get a bit less nervous, we might try that one week. Now, we've got a few exciting things for this week. What have we got lined up? Let's have a quick look at the exciting schedule. 8 o'clock, inevitable technical hurdles, which did not exist this week, and not indeed for the last 2 or 3. So that's good news. We've got your song, which is the bespoke song. This is me, brackets you. This is you, because it's all about you guys. And the anecdote off this week, it's a double rollover. We've got the Going Dutch rollover from a couple of weeks ago and a Not Going Out rollover from last week, because we had a sitcom special last week. If you didn't catch it, you can go to facebook.com/Paul.Carenza and look for videos, and it should be on there somewhere. Sitcom special. So we are reviving the sitcom special game we played last week called Notcoms. This is the first week, 7 weeks that we've had the same game 2 weeks in a row, but it was a good game. I liked it, and we've got some leftover questions we didn't get to. So Notcoms, if you didn't join it last week, you will get a chance this week. Q&A, reading. I've got a couple of readings we might have later on, and then 8:35 is the end-ish. 8:40 is the end-ish, because then 8:45. But no, we're going to aim for about 8:30 tonight. That's the deal. Right. Now, Helen Byron says, yes, without the banner, the nice wine selection has been revealed behind yonder. It looks nice, doesn't it? The nice thing is from the end of the wine bottle, you can't tell that actually it's the cheapest possible plonk from the Tesco. Also a question I wanted to ask you, good folks. Obviously, we're all doing lots of online shopping at the minute. We're sort of flip-flopping between Tesco, Sainsbury's, what's the other one we've had? Bit of Asda, yeah. Just where there are gaps. There's not a lot of gaps about, is there? But we are discovering then different shops that we don't normally go to because they're not near us, right? We could get a slot at Asda. We haven't got an Asda near us, so I don't know where they're coming from, right? What are your recommendations? Shop-specific recommendations, right? Now, apologies, we're going for the big chains here. Obviously, support your local independent shop, but given this is for the wider market, we would love to know your recommendations. Like, for example, I'll start the ball rolling. Sainsbury's do a mean steak with garlic butter, all right? And Tesco, if you're going for the shop's own brand cereal, a Tesco Shreddy is as good as a Kellogg's Shreddy. You can take that from me, right? So any other recommendations, your supermarket specific recommendations, that if you're going to shop at Tesco, say, Sainsbury's, Aldi, whatever, what are the things they do well, right? And we can spread the love a bit on that one. So, Mel, can't wait for the song. I bet you can't. Thanks. I should get the Elvis kit out. Yeah, you go, for the old Bible Society tour. Rock and roll. Greatest story ever told. Bring it back. Mark Warburton, I keep wanting to ask about your thermostat on the shelf behind you. We have the same one. Maybe a stat chat sometime. I like stat chat. That sounds like a feature in waiting. Andrew Deacon's not bought a thing online. Wow, so you're shopping local. Well done to you, Andrew Deacon. Aren't you supporting the local trade? Quite right too. Actually, that's another thing. We can recommend any local independent stockists. You know, someone might be in the area. Might be a good one. So do drop those in the chat by all means. But we better get on. We're going to do the song, right? That's what we're going to cut straight to, is the song. Now, because we're on, it's a YouTube week. As you know, we are alternating Facebook Live, YouTube Live. It's a YouTube week, which means that the rights stuff comes in. So I'm going to have to play this one. So unless you can open a separate tab, this will be mute for many of you. If you have the luxury of several tabs at your disposal, then you can open a new tab. You can go into YouTube. And you can type in, this is me. What am I doing? This is me, karaoke male. All right, I'm going to go for the male one. Hopefully it's a little bit lower. Right, now I think the one I'm going to go for is, now on my version, it's 3 lots down. It's called Best Just for Laugh Gags. Really? Is it a funny one? It's not meant to be funny. Maybe someone else has beat me to it. They're doing the lower key karaoke. So it says The Greatest Showman, lower key karaoke. This is me, brackets 2 half steps. All right? That's what we're after. So click on it now and get past any adverts, if there are any. I don't have any adverts on mine, so I'm going to get mine lined up. What I'll do as well, as ever, I'm going to put the link to it in the chat. If you want to, you can just click on this tab. And of course, if you've not joined in the chat already, this is your chance to get a name check in the song, which may or may not work. Let's find out. Okay, so, and obviously when your names run out, the song runs out. So we may not, in fact, we're not going to play the full song. I can guarantee you that now. Have a think now as well, by the way, what song you want us to do next week. I know Andrew Faraday last week suggested REM's It's the End of the World as We Know It and I Feel Fine. Really, because it's just a list song, great for listing names. Although the whole lyric, it's the end of the world as we know it and I feel fine, it seems either utterly inappropriate or thoroughly appropriate, depending on your perspective. Anyway, right now, Greatest Showman, this is me, karaoke male. So it's this one it's the one that lasts 4 minutes and 4 seconds. All right, and I'm going to click play in 3, 2, 1. What am I doing? Okay, no, we'll try it again. Sorry, I heckled myself between 1 second to go and 0. That's no good. Right, back to 0. Okay. 3, 2, 1, play. Here we go. Right. Oh yes, here we go. I've not seen The Greatest Showman, so I'm not totally familiar as I could be with the song. Right. I'm not a strange. Oh, the names. I need to do the names, don't I? I've just realised I need the names. Dan Bellamy, Heiko Egeler, Kirsty Pugh, Dan Bellamy. Is that right? I think that's how the tune goes. Jenny Moe, Jason Foles, Mel O'Sullivan, but Reg Craig, Kirsty Pugh, Dan Bellamy, Helen Byram, Lol Cartledge, Dan Bellamy, Andrew Deacon, Matthew McManus, Dave Donahue, Helen Byram, Dan Bellamy, Mel O'Sullivan, Mark Warburton, Andrew Deacon, Little Fuzzy Blue Alien. What a name is that? Little Fuzzy Blue Alien. Hello, Little Fuzzy Blue Alien. Nice to know of you. Oh, and we were on again. Tracy Snellings, Matthew McManus, Helen Byram, Deborah Foster, Jenny Moe, Mark Warburton, Jules Bland. Hello from Tom and Julia. Ho, ho, ho. Oh, yes, ho, ho. Thankfully, the names have run out just as the ho-ho's come in. All together, join in. Ho, ho, ho. Ho, 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 ho. We can get Christmassy. Ho, ho, ho. This is you. There you go. Well, the names ran out just as we got to the chorus, so I see no reason to continue. You'll be delighted to know. 1 week when this show is really kicking off and we've got hundreds of thousands of people watching at the same time, all adding their comments, then we can get stuck into a song that might last 4 minutes. Till that point, you have to do with half song. So thank you, Mel, for picking that song. Any suggestions for next week's? Mark Warburton says, you've not seen The Greatest Showman in giant capitals. No, I haven't. Trying to get my kids don't watch films. I'm a big film fan myself, but I save all the family. I think, is it a family movie? It seems family-ish. It's a musical. I don't know. They're not all family movies, I'm well aware. Reg Craig says, sorry, can't chat and eat at the same time. He said in a chat comment, you clearly can, Reg. You weren't trying hard enough, enjoying your cheese and wine in the summer sun. It's the last day of nice weather where we are, so I don't know about you. Enjoy it while you can, I'd say. Right. Next on the agenda, we've got the anecdote off. Right, so you can cast your votes now for NGO, the not going out anecdote, or Dutch, the Dutch anecdote. Whichever is not selected will, of course, be rolled over into next week. So basically, you're going to hear them all eventually. So that's the way it goes here. So yeah, do cast your votes. NGO for not going out, or Dutch for the Dutch story, which, well, they're both equally, there are risks on both stories, okay? Both are slightly awkward, slightly embarrassing. The joke's on me in both cases, I think it's fair to say. Andrew Deacon says, Joe Fisher's got his quiz on the Spring Harvest channel to get an audience. I saw he's done that. In fact, Steve, don't know if Steve's here this week, but he suggested last week that maybe we do likewise. But this actually came out of doing this as a Spring Harvest show. Was anyone there at the Spring Harvest thing originally? I don't know if you were there watching the Spring Harvest one. That was the first show we did online. And then we did this a week later. So I have done a Spring Harvest show. So I'm loath to commit to doing a second one. If they'd like me to come back, I would love to, but I don't want to push it. Basically, I'm not going to ask them. You lot feel free to ask them, and we'll see how we go. They do have thousands watching, so that is a bonus. But I kind of like the fact this is, with you lovely, small, bespoke group of people, I can fail, I can have the Casio Bontempi keyboard, and it's not as embarrassing as it would be in front of Wembley Arena, essentially, which I think was what we worked out. The number of people watching Spring Harvest would have filled Wembley. So that was tricky. So look, the votes are in. Let's have a little a rough look. We got votes mostly for not going out. A couple of Dutches, not going Dutch. Mark Warburton, no, not going Dutch. I think not going out has it. Yeah, Kirsty and Matthew were both at the Spring Harvest gig and online. That is, of course. So there's people there. Dan as well, Dan Bellamy. Oh yeah, Dan and Kirsty and Toby and Jamie, apologies. I know I've had messages from each of you this week and I've been slow, if not utterly failing to get back to you. So apologies. I've got just getting a bunch of messages, and also, which is lovely, thank you for that, but apologies if there's a gap of like a day, a week, a month before replying to anything, because I'm homeschooling 2 children at the same time and I'm trying to get the writing deadline. I've still got some writing deadlines in all of this. So my communication, my correspondence is currently lacking, long behind. So thank you for getting in touch, and I'm a terrible human being. But I will, and basically, you reach that point, WhatsApps, and when the numbers crop up and it gets into the tens and the hundreds, you just think this entire conversation I can't compute. So I'm a failing human being. Our apologies. James Craig, I've been here since the Spring Harvest gig. Marvellous. Yeah, votes mostly for not going out. Right, let's have a brief chat about not going out then. Okay, and the Going Dutch will, of course, roll over into next week's show. Right, so Not going out. I mean, there are various not going out tales I could say, but and in fact, the Miranda story last week, if you missed it, you can find it on the Facebook page. Did mention not going out, so well, that referenced that. So, if you're not familiar, it's a sitcom, been going on for about 10, 11 years now, maybe a bit longer, yeah, I've been involved with it. Apart from 2 episodes, I've worked on all the other episodes with some mostly additional materials, so just a few lines here and there. So on an average week, you might get, I don't know, 3, 4, 5, 10, a dozen, 15 lines maybe on the show, bits of dialogue and jokes and things like that. And yeah, so I was a few years ago, right? It's a bit of a confessional. This a few years ago, I was working on that, but at the same time, I was working on another sitcom called After You've Gone. Right, it's Nicholas Lyndhurst and Celia Imrie. You might be familiar with both those. I'm sure you're not familiar with After You've Gone. Not many. It was a BBC One 8:30 pre-Watershed show, right? And Not Going Out was on in production at the same time. About an hour later, 9:30 p.m. show. So I was writing lines for both shows at the same time. And on one occasion, it's very rare you get to submit the same joke for a couple of different things, but there was a joke that I submitted for Not Going Out, and then a couple of weeks went by, and After You've Gone, they were after some submissions of funny lines and gagging up the script, and I happened to submit basically the same line, pretty much. It's very rare that the same line would suit 2 different scripts, different characters, different setups, different situations. But yeah, pretty much the same line I gave to Lee Mack and to Nicholas Lyndhurst in a different show, right? And that was awkward, obviously. So, but it only got awkward, I thought, if it's actually making the final script. And the odds are it's very slim, 1 in 10, 1 in 100, I don't know, to lines that I write that get through to the final cut. But then the version I got sent back then from both shows both contained this joke. I thought, oh no, it's clearly a good joke. Both producers have selected that for the script going forward. And then we got to the filming script and the shooting script, and the line was still in both shows. And at that point I thought, I think the moment for me to tell a producer about this is probably gone. I should have at some point said, oh, by the way, that joke I submitted, can I have it back, please? You can't. And who do I say that to? I mean, I was just trusting at some point the joke would bite the dust, hit the cutting room floor, whatever you call it. Both jokes were filmed. I was at the recording for both of them. And I was very nervous at the first one. I thought, oh no, and the joke went out. And then the second one, the joke was still in there. And I thought, okay, can I tell a producer now? Now they're editing it in the editing suite. And I didn't. I'm a coward, and I didn't. And then I looked in the Radio Times, and I saw that both episodes were going to be on the same night, right? So 8:30 p.m. After You've Gone, 9:30 p.m. Not Going Out. Just hoping, they're praying that one of them, because they always film long, they always film 40 minutes, they've got to cut back. And I thought no one's going to spot this, because no one has the job, as far as I'm aware. Mark Warburton, BBC producer, you may know this, but I'm pretty sure that no one has the job of watching both shows, right? So there's a producer, an executive producer watching Not Going Out, the final cut of that, and an executive producer watching After You've Gone, but they're made by different production companies. And I don't think there's someone at BBC One who's going to watch the entire BBC One output to make sure that there's no doubling up of material or anything. So I just thought, what's going to happen here is that on BBC, people leave BBC One on. It's one of those channels you just leave on the whole time. It's background, isn't it? It's foreground. No, people are watching it in the foreground. I must say that for any BBC producers watching. But I thought people are going to watch this. 8:30, they'll watch that, have a good laugh, go off for half an hour, come back. An hour later, they'll get deja vu. They'll go, Lee Mack has just said exactly word for word what Nicholas Lyndhurst said an hour ago. It was on Not Going Out, but thankfully an hour earlier it wasn't on After You've Gone. So what a relief. Got away with that one until now, what I'm telling you, good people. So, awkward. Well, comments have come in. Andrew Deacon, have I got these for you? And Last Leg seem to share a script writer. Well, many of them do. There are many writers who write for many of these shows, you see. And you're saying that the jokes are the same in both. I know what you mean. Also, satirical jokes, they kind of do the rounds a bit, don't they? It's rather true. There's only a certain number of jokes about Dominic Cummings or Trump. Have you seen him with the Bible? He looks like he doesn't even know what this thing is. He's holding up. He's like, have you seen the picture today? He's sort of going, I think this is, I've heard of books. I'm aware of books. I think this is how you read books. It's very confusing. I wish America well in currently everything that's going on there. What was the joke, says Andrew Deacon? You know what? I've forgotten. I remember, because it's so long ago, I've blanked it from my mind. And a true professional would have researched and found, I tried looking about 5 years ago because I was thinking what the joke was. It's about 10, 11 years ago now this happened. Can't imagine at all. Mark Warburton says the comedy commissioner might watch both episodes. So in fact then, but probably not if it's a tried and tested show, which both were. I mean, After You've Gone was, I think, on series 2, not going out, maybe series 3, something like that. But the comedy commissioner might have watched both shows, which could be why it was cut from one. Maybe that's why After You've Gone didn't use it. Dan's off. Bye. Oh, look, there you go. Won't take it personally. Don't worry, mate. So anyway, that was the not going out anecdote with the doubling up of a joke that nearly baffled a nation as they wondered why the same joke was appearing twice and doubted their sanity. Thankfully, we dodged that one there. So Jason Fells, there is no need to excuse quality. Be proud. Cheers, buddy. Right, what's next on the agenda? I've completely forgotten. Not comms, the game. Oh, and the phone in. I mean, the phone is here. If you would like to phone for the phone in is here. I still haven't worked a way of actually making it so people can phone in, unless you happen to know the number. So if you have the number, if you're a friend of mine or an acquaintance and you've ever had reason to have my phone number, you're more than welcome to call. And if it rings, we'll pick it up. Maybe. What if it's an unknown number? That would be awkward, wouldn't it? If you've got my number and I've not got yours, that would be quite awkward. Anyway, we stand by the phone as ever if the phone-in happens. But in the meantime, we move on to Not Comms, the game. If you weren't here last week, it's a game I've invented. And the idea is that my dear missus, she's written down some sitcom titles, because last week was sitcom week, right? And sitcom titles, she's written them down, and I'm going to hold it up to the screen so I can't see what it is, but you can, right? And then I want you good people to write a line of dialogue. Yes, I am subcontracting my writing here. Write a line of dialogue that could appear in that sitcom, but doesn't. Try and avoid character names if you can help it. Try and make it a little bit cryptic, so I'm not going to work it out straight away, but I'm going to try and work out what the sitcom is. It's like charades, basically, with you giving me some lines of dialogue that could, but don't appear in that sitcom. So, for example, One Foot in the Grave, you wouldn't write, I don't believe it, but you, because that's from the show, but you could maybe write a line that might give it away a little bit. So we'll do that. Oh no, I've accidentally pressed the button about tips welcome from paypal.me or co-feed.com, which is like the tips for coffee kind of thing, or the brand new patreon.com, which has added monthly benefits and things. It's a rolling thing, but then you get other special things like bonus episodes of things and podcasts and newsletters and even free books and free tickets and things if you want to do that. Also, next week there will be a competition, a chance to win a signed book of your choosing, probably a book of mine, unless I'm not going to send you Nigella's Kitchen. That's ours. We need it right now. Competition next week to win a free book. Stay tuned. Right. So, and thank you. Equally, you're welcome to enjoy for free, especially if, incomes are tight, in different places at the minute. If you are, if you go to a comedy club normally, if you'd go out for a social event and you haven't been lately, then maybe treat this as your social event. And if you'd like to, the opportunity is there to support a struggling artiste. I hate doing that bit, but what you going to do? Someone's got to shop at Aldi, and it's this guy. Yeah. So, right, Not Comms, the game. Right, let's get rid of. I think we've had the plug up for long enough now. Oh, that can go as well. Right. So, here's how it works. I will hold up a thing. I will not look at the thing. You have to. I hope it's the right way up. If not, just turn your monitor or something. Work it out. For example, this one. That should be a TV show. Should be a sitcom. And I want you to write a line of dialogue, a clue as to what the thing could be. But is not from the show. Does that make sense? And then combined, you good people will, tell us what actually the show might, the next script of the show. Maybe you'll write the next episode. Maybe someone's watching this and will steal all our lines. So, as ever, there's a good 20-second time delay. Plus, of course, you are hard at work thinking of brilliant lines that could be from this. So, as I wait for you to send those lines in, bit of light music. All right, come on then. So there you go. So if you didn't see it, I'll put it up again. There you go. And if you could give me your best impressions of characters from that show, what that might consist of, and then I will attempt to guess what that might be. We'll do a couple of these. And where else are we on the schedule? What else have we got to fit in? Let me just see. We've got, just the reading and then the end. Oh, and a Q&A. If you've got any Q&As, you can have a bit of that as well. Right. So come on then, give us some lines from that show, if you would. Mark Warburton says, we're not friends. Right, well, it's not friends. I think it's enemies. Acquaintances. I'm struggling here, to be honest. I may need more to go on than just we're not friends. Isn't there, what's that? There is a show that's a bit like Friends that is, am I thinking of Modern Family? I don't know. It's not that, is it? And the others suggest don't let Marks be the only one. Come on. We can team write this sort of show. This is the writer's room right here. Naomi Hopper, hello Naomi. You should see a proper therapist. Stop ringing me. Oh, is it? It's Frasier Crane, isn't it? Is it Frasier Crane? Is that what it is? Looks like I'm not the only one who hasn't watched it, Andrew Deacon says. So, okay, I'm going to look. It's Frasier Crane. A great show. I never saw enough of that at the time. I thought one day I'll sit down and watch a lot of Frasier. That's never happened. Right, let's have another go. This is Annihilating. Niles. Very good. Lie down on my sofa. Thank you, Jason Phelps. Right, another one. Hopefully this is the right way up. If it's not, apologies. I'll sort of keep turning it so hopefully you can see what those words are. Give us a line that could be from that show, and we will go from there. So, David Harrison, can't help, don't know the programme. That was clearly an obscure sitcom. I thought Frasier was pretty, well, I suppose actually, I think last week all of the shows we had were British, weren't they? So maybe not a big American fan base here, the American sitcoms. Hopefully you've heard of this one. So, I think it's that one, or that could be Frasier again, I'm not entirely sure. That's what this one is. Okay, hopefully that's about right. So, your best lines, please, that could be in that show. This is, I mean, I don't want to judge you good people at YouTube, but it's trickier than Facebook was. This is why we alternate, isn't it? Because Facebook Live, it's easier to comment on Facebook Live. YouTube Live, people preferred it because you can watch it on a big screen more easily, but you can't comment as easily. I think that's the thing. So, therefore, it's going to be a bit slower. Right. I'm not blaming you, the technology, by the way. You know, you're incredibly speedy at this. Well done, you. A little bit of bolly, darling. Hey, are we going to Harrods? Another glass of bolly. It's absolutely fabulous. Wonderfully drunk. Absolutely fab. Very good. Well done. One more. Look, we got this many, right? We got this many, right? Let's have a look. Let's have... She's the voice on my sat-nav. Oh, Joanna Lumley. Hey, 1 week, maybe we won't get around to it, but I maybe have a... no, I can't do that one. But I have an anecdote for the anecdote off. If we go to like week 40 or something, and I'm getting really desperate for anecdotes, I might bring out my my Lumley anecdote. But I'd like to work again, so maybe I won't. Right. Is this one the right way up? I hope it is. If it's not, apologies. We'll make this the last one, then a quick reading, and then we're out of here. All right. So that's... Then if you want to, of course, you can still go and watch the comedy. I'm doing the Kingdom comedy thing. I think that's still on the YouTube. Or just go and do something else. There's other telly on, if I'm honest, and it's probably... don't want to say better quality than this, but it's got a bigger budget. I'll certainly say, unless depends how much you tip in the PayPal. We could make this a big budget show. It's up to you guys. Pressure's on, you know. So... view on big screen, comment via laptop, says David Harrison. I don't get it. I think that's more about the technology than a quote from this show, isn't it? Yes. Going out. Have I heard that gag before? Well, out is the old Mickey Flanagan thing, isn't it? Or it's not going out. It's not going out, is it? That would be a terrible thing to. Have I heard that gag before? I've heard that joke before. Is this going to be... Lockdown makes no difference to us. It is not going out, isn't it? It's not going out. There you go. What are the chances of all of those? I mean, they're not all not going out. Of all of these. Could have picked any one of them. Yes, have I heard that joke before? You cheeky people. That's like a heckle in old money. Speaking of which then, yes, gigs. So yeah, the Kingdom comedy thing's on now. St Andrew's Comedy Festival is on in a couple of weeks' time, and that features myself, Adrian Plass, Andy Kind, Tony Vino is doing it, Anna Nicholson is doing it. There's a bunch of people doing it. There is more information. I'm going to find the website right now, actually, because this is the perfect chance to tell you of what the website is. It is at, I can't find it now. It's at one of these. It's St Andrew's Bookshop. Basically, if you go to St Andrew's Bookshop.thing, then you'll find it. I can't find it now, which is terrible, isn't it? My own show, and I can't even find the thing to plug it. Let's say, and St Andrew's Bookshop Comedy Festival. Here we go. Right, I'll put it in the old. I'll put it in the quotes. Here we go. Right. This is the comedy festival we're doing in a couple of weeks' time. Adrian Plass, myself, and Andy Kind, and so on. And it's going to be fun and fabulous, and it's going to be a big fundraiser for various causes. There you go. There's the blurb. Next week, competition. It's going to be marvellous. You can win a book. And my podcast, do find the trailer for the podcast. If you go to facebook.com/bbcentury, would love it if you like that page. If you're a podcast listener, or even if you're not, if you could subscribe to the British Broadcasting Century when it comes out. I'll tell you more about it again next week, because we're going to have at least 1 or 2 episodes out by then. It's 100 years of the BBC and broadcasting and radio, and the story behind that. Episode 1 is just about like Marconi and the scientists and radio waves, but kind of hopefully in a fun way. And then episode 2 is more about how actually the radio programs sort of start. So it's going to be fun. And the other thing for that is I really want to include other voices on it. For example, yours, right? So I would love it if you are interested in being on the podcast. Could you record on your phone a broadcasting memory, like an early memory of broadcasting, like either as a child, one of the earliest things you remember hearing, radio or TV, or indeed later on in life, maybe you found an old radio show like The Goons, or I'm sorry, I'll read that again, or something like that, The Navy Lark. I don't know. What's, some early broadcasting memories, something you remember as a child or as a grown-up. Email me, paul@paulcarenza.com. Got to spell Carenza correctly, so just copy it from a place. You can't copy the thing down from there because the banner's gone this week. But yeah, would like just 30, 60 seconds, just say your name, say, hello, my name is my name, I'm from location, and my early broadcasting memory is this. And then tell us about it in about 30, 60 seconds and why it's so brilliant and what it means to you. And I'd put it on the podcast. That'd be great. Got a few already, but need a few more. So that'd be fantastic. Mark Warburton says, I filmed in Chelmsford for a feature about Marconi back in about 2007. Did you indeed, Mark Warburton? Do you have a clip by any chance? Always curious about such things. As you well know, Mark Warburton is very, very kind. He sent us a BBC yearbook. This isn't his one. This is the other one I've got. This is the 1930s one. His one is being carefully delicate. It's in a case. It's in a glass case. We look after our loans here. Anyway, we've got to wrap up. Any questions? This is your chance. A 1-minute question thing. If you have any questions, if you don't, then that's fine. We will all go about our business and pretend all this never happened. And may I thank you? I'm getting emails coming in saying, oh, someone bought you a coffee. Oh, someone's given you a bit on paper. Thank you for that. That's very kind of you. I've just had 3 of them come in, so that's very nice. That's gonna keep us in wine and books for another week. Well, I do spend things on not just wine, but really just books, if I'm honest. The reading. Right, I was going to do a quick reading. This is another little game, actually. Now, last week, I read a bit from the novelization of Porridge, right? We've got the book just behind us there, speaking of books. It's the novel of Porridge. There are a few sitcoms that were actually based on books, on novels, or indeed, there were a few sitcoms where they had a novel written as the series came out. So, here's another little game for it. I'm going to read. This is a genuine novelization from a classic sitcom. And I'm going to read you the first few paragraphs. See if you can work out what sitcom it is. I'm going to remove the character names so you can't tell. Okay? Matthew McManus asks a question. Who is harder to work with, Lee Mack or Miranda? Pass. No, they're both lovely. They're both equally hideous. By which I mean lovely. They're brilliant. They're fantastic. They pay me. How would I say anything else? But no, they are lovely. Right, chapter 1. This is the novelization of a genuine novelization of a famous sitcom. There it is. That's the book. I'm not going to tell you anything else about it. I'll show you in a minute. It's quite exciting, right? So, character name 1, whose name I will not tell you, sat at the breakfast table, letting his coffee go cold, and juggled with the word 40. 40. That's 4/10 of a century. I've never scored a century. I mean, I've never scored a century. I said that wrong. Mind you, I scored 8 not out once at Flitwick. 40. Well, there's piano 40. Trust houses 40. One has a 40 for something, but there was no getting away from it. 40 that morning meant 40 years old. The birthday cards did not help either, laced as they were with allusions to his senility, erosion, and general decomposition. However, there was always character name 2's card, saved until last, and she would never. Tom opened it. I can't even say that word. B-I-T-C-A. Can I say B-I? Can I say it rhymes with switch, begin bit? Can I say, well, it's a female dog, bitch, it's fine. You bitch. Character name 2. Character name 3. No, sorry, character name 2. Character name 2 popped her head through the serving hatch from the kitchen. Did you call? She said sweetly. Any guesses what the show is? We've got Hancock, Reggie Perrin so far. No, not right so far. I will read on until you can guess it. Did you call? She said sweetly. Yes, I did. When I get a birthday card from my wife, I expect a really loving, sentimental, sickly verse, not another nail in your coffin, you old bugger. Oh, I've said bitch, you can say bugger, I think it's fine. Blow your candle out and eat your cake, she ordered, and closed the hatch. Tom stared at the creamy monolith in front of him. It's 8:30 in the morning. Still, he thought, we never were ones for convention. I said the name. I just said Tom. Anyway, you just got it. Well done, Jules Bland. It's The Good Life. There you go. That's The Good Life novelisation. There you go, by John Esmond and Bob Larby. Now a BBC TV comedy series. Not sure if the novel came first or the TV show. I've got one more here. Actually, we'll do this next week. I've got a couple of film novelisations as well. Definitely where the film came first. And we'll have a go at that next week, where I will read it out, see if you can guess what the film is based on the novelisation. How exciting. But for now, everything me and my new wife went to on a honeymoon was owned by Trust House 40. I love a Trust House 40 back in the old days. You know what else I used to love? Bernie Inn. Whatever happened to them? And do you know what I'm missing almost most out and about here in our lockdown situation, because we are still locked down, right? We ain't going out much. You know, I've seen what's on the news. Forget the beaches. Forget IKEA. We're staying home, thanks very much indeed. Harvesters. I'm missing harvesters. The salad carts, a thing of beauty. Hopefully they'll still be there for us when all this opens back up again. In the meantime, I wish you a good and blessed and marvellous week. The sun has been setting gradually as we've been sitting here. Next week, we're back on Facebook Live, facebook.com/paul.carenza /live, I think that will do it. But just Paul.Carenza, that will find you all the stuff like last week's show. And also I'll be linking there to the podcast, which will be having episodes spread throughout this week. And I wish you a good one. Bernie in, burned out, I guess. Thank you, Mark Warburton. We'll let you have the last word, shall we? But no, the last word will go to our theme song. Thank you, everybody.